Okay, so here we are with our coffees, having a really interesting chat. And Karen, I'm so delighted to be spending this coffee time with you, because
Likewise.
yeah, absolutely, because when I came across your story a few weeks back, it stopped me in my tracks, and I just
I
knew.
know, likewise. It was a bit strange to hear your story and go, oh.
Amazing. And I just knew that there was something deeply meaningful in the synergy of our stories, even though yours is very different from mine to start with. So would you like to kind of share where you started? I think it was somewhere in Bolivia.
But yes.
Because that's where gold started.
I suppose it is really, yeah. And it is magical how somehow the universe seems to weave these mysterious links and bring us together with people. And we never know why, do we really? Or maybe with retrospectively we can see. But I began life as a geologist studying in Bolivia. So I used to go there every year to look at rocks and gather rocks and bring them back to Scotland to analyse them. And I was doing research into gold in the rocks of Bolivia. And the gold was invisible. You couldn't see it, actually. I never saw gold in the 3 years of study until I think my final few weeks. And I saw a tiny bit under a very powerful microscope. And I never ever saw any with the naked eye. But I'd actually forgotten that gold has the atomic number of 79. And I was reminded of it many, many years later when I competed in the Paralympic Games in Rio. And I'd had an accident whilst I was a geologist, fallen from a cliff and broken my back and paralysed from the chest down, and begun this whole new journey.
Did that happen?
Actually, prior. I actually broke my back a week before I was due to go to Bolivia the first time. So in the end, I did go to Bolivia a year. Everything got delayed by a year. And I went there a couple of times after that, paralysed. So it was an interesting journey in Bolivia because it was also the very, very early years of me adapting to being paralysed. So to go into this really extreme environment of 4,000, 5,000 meters and be sleeping rough in the middle of nowhere there, and very, very cold temperatures at night and very basic. Obviously, it was a real introduction to life from a very different perspective. So, but yes, fast forward many years after that, I think it was 23 years later after becoming paralysed, I won a gold medal in Rio in the Paralympic Games in hand cycling. And it was the 79th medal for Britain, and it was a gold. And I'd forgotten that 79 was the magical number of gold. And then I just realised that this number 79 had been coming up all summer. There was like a joke in the cycling team with me and the number 79 because I'd been asking for my drinks very hot in this place where we'd been training, and the barista had said ask them at 79 degrees because that's the hottest we can make them. So this joke had gone on all year, really, all summer. I won the 79th medal. And then this number just kept popping up in different ways, in different places, in weird and wonderful ways. Like in Rio, the only place I could think that I wanted to go to just have real recovery and space from that, that funnel that you go into to train for an Olympic Games was to the Outer Hebrides of Scotland. And a friend sent me a newspaper article with a feature saying that a ferry had run aground and there were 79 people stranded on it. And it was like, that's it, I need to go to the Hebrides for sure. And it just kind of led me on a trail. And as you know, I then developed this project called Quest79, which was about encouraging people to just extend themselves out of the comfort zone that we can sometimes get into. We all do. Like I realized it just yesterday. I thought I haven't been outside and slept outside to the stars or camped for so long. And it was something I used to do all the time. And I really thought I miss it. Is that like a really good connection with nature and just to lie there and look up at the sky and look at the stars? So yeah, so to try and encourage people to do something that extends themselves a bit, to get out of their comfort zone, maybe choose something that they're they know they like, but maybe they've never done it quite as much before, you know, do it 79 times or for 79 days, so connect it to the number 79. So there's been these lovely stories emerging. And whilst people have been doing that, I decided that my kind of big scale 79 will be to try and cycle the 7 continents with my handbike in 9 rides. So 1 on each continent and 2 Paralympic Games, so Rio and Tokyo. And I gave each ride a name. So they've had names like the Wild Way was Patagonia, South America, because it's really wild, rough roads, middle of nowhere. The Expressway was North America, because we had to cycle a long way every day to cover the distance from Canada to Mexico. And I also ended up breaking the land speed record in North America, so that kind of fitted. Anyway, I could go on about them all. They've all got different names. The Sacred Way was following the river Ganges from the source to its sacred heart. And the Hot Way was the highlands of Ethiopia, up in the Simeon Mountains, because they're the water towers of Africa. So each of the journeys has been connected to water in some way, following an ocean or a river. And at the same time, people have been doing Quest79s for themselves locally, whatever's appealed to them. And as you know, I then came into Clubhouse and talked about Quest79, and you brought forward your very special connection with those numbers.